So I want to walk you through a story, something magical that happened to me in 2014. I was on my way from New York to Pittsburgh when I get a call from a gentleman named Ross Schott. And we start off a conversation that's very casual, talking about your favorite football team, what are your hobbies, what are the things you love. But then he dropped a very game-changing question on me. He asked me, would you like to come to spend the summer at NASA and join Singularity University? And without any hesitation, I said, you don't have to ask Justin Bieber twice if he wants to get on stage. So, in 2 months, I found myself at NASA Ames Research Center, and I was surrounded by rockets and satellites and all the coolest technology that I dreamed of as a kid. And I was there with some very impressive people, but I was also there on a mission to find a company that can improve the lives of 1 billion people. And there were the best minds that came there to actually teach us that very thing. We were taught how to actually program robots, how to develop the next artificial intelligence, how to actually fly drones. But with that, with a purpose in mind, that you can actually help people and humanity in the process. And that's what we did. So the group behind you, over here, is 80 other people that I joined at NASA. And it was so much fun to be there, to find the dysfunctional family that I was looking for. And out of those 80 people, I found 4 other people that were interested in some of the same challenges as I was, the environment. So we do know that the climate change is a real thing. We do know that polar ice caps are melting. We know that the animal kingdom is losing its home. So what can we do to solve it? Out of that was born Nutera, an OS to actually use machine learning technology on satellite images to actually detect environmental threats before it happens. So we use these special sensors, and they are called hyperspectral sensors, which allow you to see things in images that you wouldn't normally see because it goes far beyond ultraviolet rays. So we could look to algae blooms and oil spills even before they happen. We got this vetted with Google Earth and with the Environmental Protection Agency. And I'm proud to say that this project was actually even deployed at Facebook in their Geospatial Information Systems department. Which brings me to this. What did we do differently? Well, we saw a problem in the environment, and then we said we can combine satellite technology, and we got Nutera. Very cool. X plus y equals z to the power of 9. This is a very simple equation. And what I want to get to is we didn't do anything that anybody else couldn't do. We discovered that X are the global grand challenges of our time. And they include environmental challenges, health challenges, energy challenges. We've gone through the industrial age, where we've actually built all the tools that we need today. We've also gone through the information age, where now we have all the information that we need on the planet to take on these problems. So now we're in the DIY age, or the do-it-yourself age, which is plugging and playing all these technologies on an environmental problem to solve something for the future. And this is what I wanted you to take home. So I'm going to walk you through a few examples, one of them being space and 3D printing. When you combine the two, what do you get? There's a company called Made in Space, which is in NASA currently. So imagine that you're an astronaut and that you are in the International Space Station. And the International Space Station is filled with a lot of nuts and bolts, and you need to fix some of these things. Well, how do you do it? Well, from now, you can actually send and beam in instructions from the Earth that can go to space in the International Space Station, and you can print a wrench, a simple object like a wrench. It took them 400 test flights, but they actually nailed it. And most recently, they developed something called a buckle. And a buckle can be used to measure the lactic acid in muscles, which can actually prevent muscular atrophy and cardiovascular disease, which are real phenomena in space. Aging plus genome analysis. Aging is a real phenomena. It is not a disease, it is a disease, and we can solve it in our lifetime. We can all become Benjamin Buttons and reverse aging with genome analysis. So what is genome analysis? Genome analysis allows you to understand the data in your DNA, and we can actually develop personalized medicine for you so that you have the best healthcare. Not only that, they're building the biggest database of human DNA information so that we can have better medicine for the future. This year, they did 40,000 genome sequences. Next year, they're scheduled to do 100,000. So what happened? What did we just see? Well, we saw the X, which are all the grand challenges of our time. And there are a lot. Here is a list of few. There's the universal health access. There's sustainability. There's affordable housing. There's chronic disease detection. And there's also, most notably, the Zika virus. When you combine that with technology, and there's everything from fuel cells to nanomaterials to drones and wearables, you can get Z to the power of 9, which is impact as a service. Impact as a service to the power of 9 because you can possibly affect the lives of 1 billion people and build a sustainable business. I mean, that's how the Tesla guys got started. So Mark Tarpenning and Martin Eberhard, when they started their company, they actually wanted to solve the oil crisis. And they said, what technology can we use to solve it? And that's when they tried with battery technology, and that became an electric car. What you just saw was the earthquake in Nepal in 2015, which claimed the lives of nearly 8,600 people at a 7.8 Richter scale. It was mentioned before that I was actually personally affected by the earthquake and the tsunami of our time, and that is true. And there's lots of disasters just like this that inspire me to take on the project that I took on next, like the typhoon in the Philippines, the Haitian earthquake, and more. I discovered that with drones, you can do something so different with disasters that you couldn't have thought before. So when you have an earthquake, imagine you're walking down the street of Kathmandu, and it's all filled with rubble, and it's hard to get to places. But if you have a drone, you can fly that in, and you can assess the level of damage. You can actually spot victims, and you can actually recreate the city. And that's what we try to assist the forces that you see over here. So we work with the Nepalese military and the US military. This is a field operations image to coordinate the logistics of the drones, because we deployed within 24 hours of the accident with 5 other teams and 6 drones. And when we got there, we started collecting imagery with the drones, and what you see before you now is a 3D rendition of a 360 video. So this is a hospital in Nepal that we've captured, And what you can do now is figure out where could there be a potential person over here. But also, hospitals are the first thing that you want to rebuild in a city that is dilapidated. And you can use this 360 video to do that very exact thing. So we've worked with several other teams and open sourced our technology, and we also left some of our drones with the Nepalese military. And I'm proud to say that with the assistance of several other drone companies and other disaster relief companies, we were able to save the lives of 50 people and actually get nearly 530 people to higher ground. Which brings me to this. This is an adorable child playing football, but what you see in the image is a prosthetic leg. And better yet, he's going to kick the ball with the leg. I mean, that's a phenomenal thing. And the reason why I showed this picture is because in all of us, there were always these things that we perceived as weaknesses, but we can pivot it to become our best strengths. But that requires a shift in mindset. So when we decide to take on some of these big challenges, and I'm sure people in this room are super passionate about them, we should start thinking about it, what should we call them? Because that's what's going to drive us to take them on. When we think of disasters, let's think of resilience. When we think of poverty, let's think about empowering them with prosperity. When we think of education, let's think of learning. Because if you solve for the X and you have the Y in front of you, you get Z to the power of 9. And that is a do-it-yourself equation. Thank you very much.